My name is Alexander Casala. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I never really drank or partied in high school until I turned about 18. And that's when I discovered alcohol. At the beginning, it was like amazing and positive, and I loved it. And it definitely connected me to people, and it definitely gave me friends. And it was great for a couple of years. Slowly, problems just started coming up and arising. One of the nights I had drank so much that I passed out before we even went out. And then the next morning I woke up and I was like, I don't even remember going out. And my roommates were like, oh, that's because you didn't, because you blacked out before you even went out. And soon I just really started getting into these ridiculous arguments and fights with people, and people started referring to me as a monster. They would say to me, wow, I've never seen anybody do that, and it was scary, and the type of person you became was just a monster. And that was really hard to hear, and I started hearing that more and more. A few years ago, I had been out one night and I had drank too much, and I met this really cute boy, and he was like bi-curious, I think, and we met on the dance floor of this club in Old City, and I kissed him, and he was like, oh, I'm going to this after hours place. I was like, oh, I want to follow you there, and I happened to drive. But I got behind the wheel of my car, and I drove to the second place, parked, got there safe, and then we were there, and I was like, you know what, man, I'm really tired and I gotta go home. So I got back in the car, I put my Chorus Line soundtrack on, and I remember just like nodding off, and I kept nodding off, and then I fell asleep. And the thing that woke me was hitting these parked cars. The last car that I hit it so hard that my car flipped over. The ambulance and police came, they battery ran me out of the car, took me to the hospital, cut me out of my clothes, and then they took me to prison. I was in this jail cell with this dude, and he was probably like 300 pounds. And he seemed like a tough-ass dude going into the experience. I was kind of intimidated. He was like, what did you do to get in here? And I explained to him what happened. And in that moment, he was like so inspirational, and he really cared for me. And I don't even know who he was, and I never will. But he was like, wow. He was like, and it really makes me upset when I talk about it, because in that moment he said to me like, oh man, like you're meant to be here. God cradled you in his arms last night, and you are meant to be here for some reason. He's like, I don't really know why, but if I were you, I wouldn't ever drink another drop of alcohol ever again. I didn't listen. I went back to drinking after that, and I had a couple more years of negative behavior and dramatic behavior and constantly getting into trouble. This one day here in Philly is Outfest, and it's a huge celebration in the neighborhood. Thousands of people come out. And I got to work early that day, and I was really committed to doing a good job because I had kind of already been on the fringe of the bar that I was working at for some other like stupid stuff and some drama. And I had a couple drinks, and then I was ready to go home. And then I realized, oh, I forgot my charger back at Taboo. So I went back to where I was working. And then I was there, and I had another couple more drinks, and I hadn't eaten anything all day because I was working. And the next thing you know, I got into some fight with some stranger. She was a girl. I don't even know what we were arguing about, what she said that pissed me off, but she said something, and I poured a beer on her. I woke up the next morning being like, oh my God, like what happened last night? I didn't really know, but I felt like something had happened. And later that day, I already had a meeting set up with the manager, the owner of the, because I was a manager. And we had a meeting about something. And then at the end, he was like, so do you want to tell me what happened last night? And I was like, oh, I know something happened, but I don't really know. And I think this is maybe what happened. I think I may have like poured a beer on a girl. And he was like, yeah, that's exactly what you did. He said, I think you have a problem. And I listened to him, and I walked away from that really, really upset, really angry at myself. And then 2 days later, I was with my best girlfriends, and we were about to start drinking for the night. And we had gone in this convenience store, and they said, oh, we're going to pick up some beers. And I said, oh, you know what, I'm good. Oh, you know what, I'll get two pumpkin beers. But something in me was just like, I don't want to start this cycle over again. Because it was always a cycle, and it was always, doing something bad and then having healthy behavior for a couple of days and then going right back into it. And I had the first beer, and I kept the second one. I was like, because I just didn't want it. I got home, and I had sat in my apartment, and I was alone, and I was drinking that second beer. And I was like, I'm just like so ready for this to be like the last drink that I ever have. And I was like, I really just want to post about this, because if I post about it, it's really going to prove to people that I'm being honest about myself with this problem, a problem they all already probably know I have. And it's really going to make me be accountable. So once I put it out there like that, I can't go back to the bar next week and have a drink. I woke up the next day, I fell asleep that night on the couch, and I hadn't looked at my phone, and there were all these likes and comments and people commenting who didn't even know adult Alex, who didn't even know about my drinking problem, people from elementary school congratulating me and wishing me good luck. And so that was really scary in that moment, because I was really exposing myself to those people. But that day was October 15th, 2013. There's so much pressure being put on everybody, especially the gay community, about how to live your life. And we're constantly being told that the way to live that life is by drinking. Be wild, have fun, be crazy, do all these great, amazing things, and be snarky and be sassy and be promiscuous. But in order to really achieve those things, we're conditioned that we can only achieve those things by drinking. There's like a line that I said before, and it's, I like never stop the party, just change the way you do it. And I really do believe in that. And that's something that I live by. I'm still gonna party. I'm not gonna drink while I do it.